All right, Bill. Today's video. Let's talk about this, okay? I complain about HOAs a lot.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not a big fan of HOAs. And people comment on it when we did pros and cons of an HOA.
Yeah.
All right.
And a lot of people aren't fans of HOAs, and I understand that.
But, you know, these people beat me up and everything, and they put these long comments like, this is why it's so great and why it's not. Okay, there's some HOAs that are halfway decent.
Yeah.
But what I did is I actually reached out to a bunch of people and say, hey, if you have a nightmare story about your HOA, okay, go ahead and send it to me because I want to create a list and I want to go over their stories of true nightmare stories.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And then, but at the end, I'm like, all right, so what are we going to do? What is this video about? Just 20 or 19
complaint sessions?
Complaint sessions? No. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to explain how you could avoid all this. All right? So there's a lot you could do to avoid a lot of these nightmare stories.
Cool.
And, you know, I'm not going to go really detailed into the stories, but I'll give you an example.
Okay.
In the meantime, if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. And remember, if you need a real estate agent anywhere, my phone number is below. All right, here's the first story. I literally got like 45, 50 stories, but I broke it down to like 19 of them.
Only 19 of the stories.
Some of them overlapped. I'll go over them really quick, okay?
I'm like,
okay.
I need popcorn?
Selective enforcement. A neighbor's basketball hoop is fine, okay? The neighborhood had a basketball court, okay?
Okay.
Until you install your own. One owner got a daily fine while 3 others on the same street skated. So basically, he got a letter, he got a fine. This is what he's saying. Is it true? This is what they were.
This is the story, right?
This is the story.
This is what we're getting.
Why is he getting a letter and 3 other people are not? I'm sure he could fight it and win.
Well, that would be my first question, because you know me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would say. Yeah. I'd go around like I did recently.
You did? That's why I have you on this video.
And I'm like, taking a picture, taking a picture, taking a picture, taking a picture, taking a picture of everybody's mailbox that wasn't perfectly spotless clean, but I got a letter. And this is not where I currently live. This is another property that I'm managing.
Oh, wow.
So like, it's for Vanessa's brother.
Okay.
So, and it just irks me because I don't like it because there's always something wrong with the house. But when I'm coming in, I'm seeing mold here, grass dead there, and it's always something.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
Picking that up. So I went around and I said, and I took a few pictures. I cleaned the mailbox, right?
Yeah.
Here you go. I took pictures of the mailbox, and I accidentally sent all the photos to the HOA and said, we cleaned the mailbox. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Come on now.
All right, this person said, fines that snowball. A $50 weed violation turned into $1,200 after admin fees, interest, and hearing costs.
Yeah. All
before the owner could even get the landscaping scheduled. So this one I was just saying to myself, okay, he got a letter about weeds, and the $50 turned into $1,200. It's a little bit of a stretch, okay? He's probably watching this video. I'm sorry, but you must have been avoiding the fine for a long time.
Right. So as I say, you have typically the letter, because, you know, even at my house, and you're going to be shocked when I say this.
Okay.
I had a little bit of mold on one of my shutters in the front of the house. So we got a letter. Now, which I found ironic.
Yeah.
It was not my house. So I kind of laughed because I'm like, that's not my house. But nonetheless, I went outside, I put some bleach on it, and I had a little bit of, I mean, we're talking a little bit, but nonetheless, the point was that somebody went around and that was like their target for the day, right? But I laughed because it wasn't a photo of my house. It's not a big deal. But with that letter, my point is that, you know, it said, hey, you got to remedy this within 2 weeks. It's a very easy thing. Now, I do know that if you have things that you can't remedy within 2 weeks, don't just not respond and communicate. That's the biggest thing. Communicate with people. Say, hey, I've scheduled the landscaper to come out. I'm getting 3 bids. I've gotten 1. The next one's due on this day. The next guy's showing up on this day. All you have to do is communicate. Yeah. And then if they decide to be jerks and vote and do their little meeting and then come after you still, and you're communicating,
it's too much.
Kind of, the HOA at that point is starting to, in my opinion, open up the door to some things that are probably not positive.
All right, this person, he says, architectural review delays. This guy wanted to do a backyard barbecue, okay?
Okay.
I guess what? and he took 5 months for the approval. He finally got the approval, but he missed the whole entire summer because of the board lost the application twice.
Oh,
So
no.
I just got this one. He's like, yeah, I finally got the approval, and where he's at, it's more northern state.
Yeah.
You know, and he says now, now they said okay, So
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. This one is interesting. Paint color nightmare. An owner repainted the exact approved color from the HOA on its own. Where you can choose colors from.
Yep.
Okay. Only for the swatch to be expired. They had to repaint it again. So they got the wrong sample book, or they got the right sample book, but then that swatch, they said it was too many houses, because I read the whole letter. There was too many houses with the same color, so you can't use that color anymore.
Right. So certain neighborhoods will have, as an example, you can't have the same color paint within 5 houses, any direction.
Right.
Something along those lines.
But by the time he got the painter there, they painted the whole house, painted it.
Yeah.
And then within 2 or 3 days, he got a letter saying, "Oh no, you can't use that color."
So I'm understanding it correctly, and the viewers are too. He painted the house the same color beige that he already had. So thinking in your head, why would I need to go to the HOA to get approval for the color that I already have? Which logically, that would make sense. If the other houses needed to meet, you see where I'm going with this? If the other houses were beige, as an example, and now there's too many beige houses. Well, my house was already beige, so I'm not the one who made the house the wrong color. It would be the last person that you approved. Wouldn't that make sense?
Yeah, but they don't see it that way.
Right, that's because they don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, they don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, they don't want to be wrong. I would love to fight that battle.
How about this one? Landscaping control. A garden was cited for non-conforming. So they told him, hey, you can't have a garden. After ripping it out, the owner received another fine because the grass hadn't filled in fast enough. He said literally, he goes, I had a garden. I didn't want to fight with them. I pulled everything out and planted seeds for the grass to grow. It started growing. It took too long, so you got a fine for the grass.
Yeah, they would not be happy that I live there.
Here's a big one. I'm going to go through these pretty quick, okay? Parking and towing. Overnight street parking was banned with 48-hour notice. A visiting grandmother got towed at 2 a.m. It cost more than her plane ticket. So basically, they gave the notice.
That the rule was changing.
Yeah, they gave the notice. They had to give, in this particular one, from what I read, you had to give 48-hour notice. They did.
Oh, that you were going to park in the street.
Yeah, because we have visitors.
Okay, gotcha.
So they got that and everything. They gave the notice. But because the HOA was somebody on the board said, oh, there's a car there. Let's get it towed. Not knowing. So they're like, oh, it's not our problem. The HOA should pay. They said that it costs more than the plane ticket.
Oh, yeah, the HOA should definitely. If you got approval to park in the street, you got whatever it is that you need to get, that's my opinion, definitely. I'd be on the HOA for that one.
Okay. Investor sent this one in. Investor bought with short-term rental. He wanted to do a short-term rental, okay? The rule changed past mid-year banning it. One owner lost 2 months of bookings and a chunk of peak of season income. So basically, when they bought, they should have grandfathered those people in. They bought, they were doing short-term rentals, everything was cool, and then some of these people got together, and they're like, hey, we don't want short-term rentals anymore. And you're out of business.
Yep.
Just like that.
Just like that. So if you're buying in an HOA, no matter what, even if you're going to use it as an investment property like this, make sure you get at least 1 year's minutes, 1 year prior, the minutes from every meeting for a year, and read them. So you know what's coming up. Because somebody talked about that at some point in time, potentially, or you just had really bad luck, and then 2 months later, I think you said?
Yeah.
2 months later, so that means they only had 2 meetings, and then had the appropriate notification, depending on what state they're in, obviously. I don't know what state they're in, and sent this out for a vote. That's pretty quick. So I'm thinking in my head, somebody.
One of the things towards the end that we're going to talk about is actually reading the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, pet restrictions. A quiet senior dog was fine until the board reinterpreted nuisance noise. the owner had to install a $1,000 soundproof panel in their own hallway because they got a nuisance complaint. They said the dog was barking. So I didn't know which way to go on that one. What do you think?
Okay, so I've actually experienced this.
Okay.
So, and this has probably been 20 plus years now, but in my old neighborhood, my dogs would bark when people walk by. I mean, that's kind of the point of the dogs. Now they didn't stay outside. They were in the house, right? So one of the neighbors who ironically had a dog, and the reason my dogs would bark is because he had his dogs outside. And then when they walked past the window, they would bark at each other.
Right,
I mean, it's kind of the thing. Well, he didn't like that. And he called the HOA. So I get a call at the fire station one day. Hey, the dog's barking, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's a dog. What do you want me to do about it, you know? So then he comes over. Long story short, the guy gets finally irritated. My dog unfortunately passed away because he was old.
Yeah.
This was like 2 months later, and he goes, I am sick of your dog barking and this, that, and the other. And he comes over and he's a jerk about it. And he's got the county rules and he throws them. I'm calling animal control. I'm going to put your dog to sleep. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember this. I've known you forever. This is how long I've known Jimmy. And I'm like, my dog's dead. It's not my dog. I don't know what you're talking about. Because we were in one of your favorite neighborhoods where the houses are like a half a foot apart.
No, I hate those 8 foot apart. All right, what about this one? This one, people got pissed off about this one. Amenities closure. Community pool closed temporarily for repairs. It stayed shut, this guy said, for 14 months while dues kept rising to cover mismanagement contractor bids.
Ooh, that's the hard part of these HOAs.
I know.
Luckily, like in Florida, some rules have changed to kind of mitigate some of these things, but that kind of stuff happens, unfortunately. And then the owners are the ones that are stuck kind of holding the bag because it's the neighborhood association and it's a community pool. So everybody's going to have to chip in on that one.
This one is another one that's a nightmare. Homeowner requests a receipt for big landscaping contract. The board refused, saying executive session. So basically in Florida, I think the rules are different on this one. A year later, the vendor turned out to be a board member's cousin.
So now, yes, the rules have recently changed on this. And don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure you have to disclose that now. So like if, as a real estate agent, if I'm doing business where I'm going to benefit from it or a family member is going to benefit from it, I have to disclose that. So for instance, if like my dad was buying a property, I would have to disclose that I'm a family member representing my family member in the deal because I technically would stand to benefit from that in some way, shape, or form as a family unit. So I have to disclose that, and now HOAs, I believe, have to do that as well. I believe that's one of the, I could be wrong on that, but I feel like I read that in one of those updates with HOAs. But you know what? If they don't, just disclose that stuff. HOAs, come on, do the right thing.
I know, do the right thing. This is a lot of stuff why I hate HOAs. Special assessment, unexpected $7,800 assessment hit just before the holidays for roof reserves that should have been funded years ago. Pay in 30 days or incur penalties. I mean, this guy is right before the holidays. His wife sent it in, I think. And right before the holidays, they're on a budget. They're like, you got to pay this or you're getting penalty. You know? Power tripping boards. This person. A board president demanded owners remove all holiday lights by December 26th at noon.
December 26th?
That's what this person said. One resident working a night shift got the same day fine. Like, did you do something like garbage cans when you were in the fire department? You're like, yeah, I'm not home.
Yeah. Because so we had a rule that, you can't put your trash cans out X hours before. Well, if I'm on duty for 24 hours, I would have to, when I left in the morning, because I would leave at like 6 a.m., I would take my trash out because I didn't get home until 8 a.m. the next day. Trash has already come, right? Because it came early. So when I was leaving for work, I would roll my can out. And then when I got home the next morning, I would roll my can back in. And sometimes my neighbors were cool and put the can back up for me. That was always cool. But I used to get letters constantly about that.
Yes,
constantly. Until I finally sat down with the board and their attorney and was like, I'm at the fire department. What would you like me to do about this?
This one, I don't know what state this person's in. Foreclosure over a small debt. A missed quarter dues triggered legal fees, interest, and lien. The owner was currently on a mortgage, but the HOA started foreclosure anyways. I'm like, what?
Yes. So I remember this can happen. And I remember I asked about this in a class, and it was an attorney teaching the class, and the attorney said that an HOA can actually foreclose faster than the bank can.
I didn't know that.
They can foreclose on your house.
I didn't know that. Rules change after you buy. Backyard fire pits were allowed until they weren't. An owner who invested and built a stone-in pit had to jackhammer it out or
Oh my
face
God.
daily fines.
With all of this stuff, these are the things, they don't just creep up at these meetings. This is where you've got to actually go to the meetings, at least pay attention to the minutes when they get sent out. You've got to pay attention to the meetings. I mean, really, you have to.
Read the notes. No exterior personality, only one mailbox style was allowed. I got hit with this one. A replacement from the same manufacturer but newer model was deemed non-uniform and fined. So this guy is basically, I read his whole thing. He's like, okay, my mailbox broke or something happened to it, and I went to the place that they wanted me to go. They didn't have the same style, so I bought their newer style.
So it's like discontinued.
Discontinue. I put it on there, and they fined me because it's not the same mailbox as everybody else. And he says, I'm still fighting this. He goes, I can't get the mailbox. Like,
Yeah.
my bracket on my mailbox, I would say it's like a $20 bracket, but
Yeah.
if you break it, you're going to go to this company that you have to use, and you have to pay like $200 for a bracket.
Same way in my neighborhood.
And listen, I know you guys are saying, so why are you living in an HOA? It's a light HOA. Like, I don't have a gate that I have to wait till it opens and all that stuff, but there's still a pain in the neck. One of my palm trees in front of the house got hit by lightning. I'll put a picture up. And I got a notice 2 days, 3 days. I think they noticed it before I noticed it.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
Yeah, the dude driving around. Hey.
Security cameras and surveillance. A homeowner installed a doorbell cam after package theft. The HOA called it architectural. They got cited for installing it without prior approval. A Ring doorbell.
A freaking Ring doorbell? Come on.
That's what he said.
Because you need architectural approval because they all have the same doorbell. They all have the same pendant lights outside. You're getting a little crazy.
But
Come
this,
on.
listen, it was like 45 emails, you know,
Yeah.
like, it's fine. Obviously I picked the more dramatic ones.
Of course, but that makes it more fun, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said. Neighborhood politics and drama. Two board factions feuded. Meeting dragged past midnight. Budget stalled. The trash pickup contracts lapsed, leaving the bins overflowing for days. So basically, the board got into a fight,
Oh my goodness.
and it's just it should show you.
Yeah.
All right, we got to talk about this one. Insurance confusion, okay? A pipe burst in a townhome building. HOA said owner's problem. Okay. Owner insurance said HOA's roof failure problem. The family lived in a hotel for 2 weeks while both argued. I'm telling you, man. It's just freaking nightmare. Contractor monopolies. Only approved vendors could work inside the community at a rates 20 to 30% higher than the outside the gate. Owners who use their own contractors got fined. This guy's saying, I don't want to use who they approved
Wow.
for painting or gutters or this and that.
Look, I get it that they need to make sure that the person is licensed and that they're bonded potentially, or that they at least have liability insurance to a certain extent. And then, because, you know, you've got to do that, and I've had to do that in the past for insurance purposes, you know, where you show them as an additionally insured for a certain community or a builder, like when you go to a build center. Mm-hmm. I get that. But you should not, as an HOA, be able to dictate who I choose to use as my contractor. Because you want your cousin to do
That's
it.
what this person said. All right, I'm going to go to number 20, so I'm making it give it 20, okay?
Okay.
I have more here. Legal costs passed to you. An owner beat the bogus violation, but the HOA still billed the community for the association's attorney. Everybody's dues went up. So the HOA...
yeah. So the HOA got sued, had to defend itself, lost, and then everybody's dues went up. So when you sue your HOA, you're suing, in essence, suing yourself as well, which is crazy, but it is your dues. It is an association. It is a group that you're in. It's no different than any other professional organization that gets sued by its members.
They have too much power. You know, in Florida, there's rumblings about
rumblings.
Getting rid of HOAs.
Well, that'll never happen. I don't see that potentially
But-
at all just going away. But,
But-
we've already started to hold HOAs a lot more accountable for what
For budgets,
they do. They have to go to classes. There's a lot more involved with being a board member on an HOA, and there's a heck of a lot more liability now for those board members, which I think they need.
Yeah,
you
no-
can't just go off half-cocked and tell people things that you don't really know.
Or people with signs on their cars for work vehicles, but nice newer vehicles. Like I have a new vehicle for my inspection
Yeah.
business, and there's some signs on there, and they're like, "Oh, we get letters," but now the rules change. Now
Yep.
they can't do shit. All right, so here's the things that. Okay, that's enough negative stories, but here's some things. Ask 5 basic front rental caps, monthly dues, what's included, special assessments in the last 5 years, parking rules, approval timelines, and for projects. So basically, ask what you were saying before, the notes,
Yeah.
because they've been probably talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, there's a process that the HOA has to go through to pass new rules. It's not just it gets brought up and then it's a new rule. There's a little bit of a process and a discussion. So if you're going to amend bylaws, they have to go to a vote. So for most HOAs, I shouldn't say all, for most HOAs and most rules. So make sure that you're paying attention to those things. I'm not saying you got to go to every meeting because they
Maybe you
can
can
get
read the
monotonous.
notes online.
Well, and in Florida now, HOAs of certain sizes, they have a time limit to get it done, but they have to have a public-facing website, and then they have to publish those minutes, and they also have to publish the HOA rules. They used to not do that, and you would have to pay or pass down a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy that may or may not be up to date.
Now that you brought that up, here's the next one, okay? Make a contingency on HOA docs. Like in Florida, you have to have the HOA docs, but some states you don't.
Right, every jurisdiction is going to be a little different.
But over here, we're like, if we don't have the docs on the condos.
Well, it's different. So the HOAs and condos are two
All
different
right, so
things.
to explain the HOA.
So HOA is homeowners association, condos are condo associations, which may also have an HOA inside of it, but condos are governed by condo law and condo rules. The terms get interchanged a little bit, but HOAs are different.
So let me ask you this one. An HOA document contingency, can you put a contingency that you have to review the HOA rules before?
Well, that's part of the contract.
That's part of the contract. It's in your
Correct.
contract.
Most people just ignore it, but it's part of the contract that you have to have the rules before you strike the contract.
All right, and this one I don't know if I agree with. Request to sell a credit at the buffer. If dues or rules look shaky, negotiated credit for 6 to 12 months of dues or upcoming assessments. You ever run into that?
No.
Okay. They're like, if they said that they're talking about having a special assessment for roofs and everything.
Okay, that's where you should be reading the 12 months prior, and that's your responsibility to bring that up
Right, but
as the buyer.
Yeah, as a buyer, but can't you say, you know what? It sounds like you guys are gonna have a special assessment of $5,000. So
Well, so there's a provision for that in the contract
all right,
that you have to negotiate.
all right.
So that's an important part. So if you've reviewed that, because the seller may not know, they may not be involved with the HOA, right? How many of you are involved with your HOA right now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're reviewing those things, this is part of that due diligence period during your inspection period. You get those condo docs or the HOA docs up front, and if there is rumblings of an assessment, then you need to have that conversation with the seller, and then there's a provision in the contract where it's not for HOA stuff, but you could write in that they're going to pay that assessment for stuff that maybe previously happened, but that comes back to the negotiation part. Let's say it's a roof. They're going to redo the roofs or something, right? So why would the seller have to pay the assessment if they're selling the house and they're moving and they're not going to enjoy the new roof? Why should they have to pay for your roof?
Sure.
So that's where the negotiation portion comes in.
Yeah. Okay. Like you said before, government docs, CCRs, bylaws, fines collection, money approved, current budget, last 2 years, financials, latest reserve study of units, 60 plus days delinquent. Just get a really good on their financial grasp. They have to show it to you.
Yeah.
They can't hide it. Risk check, insurance summary, master policy, limits, deductible, dispute letters, last 12 months. Look at all that stuff.
Yep.
Lifestyle rules, parking, guest rules, STR policies, pet rules, paint, landscape, pallets, exterior camera policy. Look at everything.
That's all part of your CCRs
Yeah.
and your rules and regs.
You could, basically you could just write a letter, email it to them, you know, and ask for all that information. I think that checking out your HOA and going there and talking to the actual people living there
That's a good
is
idea.
just as important as the house that you're buying or the condo or the townhouse, whatever you're buying.
Yep.
I think I can't tell you how many people moved into their dream home just to want to move out because of the HOAs.
Right, it happens.
It happens more than you know. They're like, you know what? I love the house, I love the layout, but I can't do nothing. They're all over me.
Yep.
Anyways, that's today's video. Again, consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. It's greatly appreciated you guys stayed till the end. Watch this video right here. I picked it out for you, just for you guys. And remember to, you know, give a description. Blah. Leave a comment below, okay? I reply to the comments. I'm overheating.
He's overheating. His battery's cooked. See you on the next video.
All right, thanks
for watching.
Bye.